Alright, so in this video you'll notice that I'm still in Orgrimmar, near Chromie, but this time I'm going to talk about the lore, about how the player can figure out the story of the game, which actually currently is completely like out of whack. So let's say I'm a new player, like I said in my previous video. You're gonna be sent in Orgrimmar, you're gonna be asked to go to the stables with a goblin. The goblin is going to go at his own pace instead of following the player's pace, which is already wrong. And so I'm gonna use an example from a previous expansion, so Mist of Pandaria, which arguably is not my favorite expansion, but Mist of Pandaria did a few things which were fantastic. So, for example, all around the zones of Mist of Pandaria, you could find scrolls, like scrolls of lore, and you would interact with them and read up on some of the story of the continent, and it would give you an item. This item you would be able to bring back to the Vale of Eternal Blossom, above Mogushan Palace, to the seat of knowledge, to Lord Walker Shaw, and if you brought him all the scrolls of one set, so for example, all of the scrolls regarding the Jinyu, you'd get a quick little, very nice little theatrical piece explaining you basically what you've just read, but instead of just reading, you have actually some kind of event. That was nice, but even nicer was that in the seat of knowledge, you would have shelves all around the place, and the Law Walker Show would compile the scrolls you find, and he would compile them into books placed on those shelves, which means that once you finished all of your collection, you can come back right there, not out there in the wild. You can come back there and read them, in case you want to check up on all of this. So that was already a nice feature. But another second fantastic thing that happens in this place in the Valley of Four Winds, I believe it was in Alfil, you'd meet Lily Stormstooth, a little Pandaren girl, and she would be asking you, giving you a quest to show her, I believe, 3 places. So something like the field and the pools and another one. And you could do this quest right away and get rid of it, or you could actually keep it, and go do some other things, actually. Nothing was stopping you from it. And if you did, this is where the quest designers who made this quest were actually geniuses, is that if you kept the quest for a while and brought Lily with you elsewhere, say all the way west of the zone, where she actually doesn't have to go, but she could go with you, and she would have something to say, she would have a little bit of flavor text to say, to be like, oh yeah, I like this place, oh, this is fantastic, I like being there, and that was nice. Which brings me back to Orgrimmar. Imagine that instead of what we get, actually, what if the goblin was like, okay, let's go to the stables, it's over there, you see where it is, you have the quest marker and everything, and you have to go over there. Main objective, go to the stables. Secondary, like, optional objective, visit the Valley of Strength, visit the Embassy, visit the Valley of Spirits, visit the Valley of Wisdom, maybe visit the Shadow Rift, maybe go to the place where all the shamans, maybe go up with the elevator to see this, and the goblin would actually tell you something. It would be like, oh yeah, this is where the war chief is. This is where we receive your allied races. This is where the trolls lives. This is where torrents are. You will be able to get the flying mount over there and stuff like that. So that's one thing that would be nice. Because as a new player, you're quickly introduced to Sylvanas Windrunner as War Chief in the present, which is no longer the case. Like, Sylvanas is no longer the War Chief as of now, But back then, in Battle for Azeroth, she was the War Chief. But what a new player is not going to understand is that she wasn't always the War Chief, It's like a long thing, It started with Thrall, then we got Garrosh, then Vol'jin, then Sylvanas. Now it's a council, and that's not explained. When you arrive in Orgrimmar, you don't even know, like, why is the city called Orgrimmar? Yeah, it's actually called like that because it's named after Orgrim Doomhammer, and the game doesn't tell you this. You have to find it for yourself. Where? Not really in game, You're gonna have to find it in a book on WoWhead and something like that, And that sucks. So, what I believe the game should be doing somewhere, you should have. I mean, recently, like when was it? Was it in Legion or was it in? It was in Shadowlands, right? I believe when they added the portal room of Orgrimmar and Stormwind, And when those portal rooms were added, I mean, they literally made new rooms. In the case of Orgrimmar, they added a new doorway, entire new room to the city, which is like nice, like good job. And I'm like, could you do that again? Like, you have a big room over there. You manage to make a decent cut right there. Like there were, like, I guess another big pillar right there, and you cut right through it, and you made an entrance, and that's nice. And I'm like, imagine if this big fire, like right there, if they removed it, and instead they made a building, an entrance, something, like maybe a new building, and you go inside, and you'd find books, interactable books to tell you the story of the game, And like, look, I have a toy. I have this toy which dates from Legion, And when I interact with it, I get not a lot on this character, but I'm supposed to have access to all the cutscenes I've unlocked on my character for the expansion Legion. And that's nice, that's nice, but first, it's a toy. You have to figure out where it is, and it's only Legion, And I believe that what Blizzard should be doing is give us somewhere in Orgrimmar and Stormwind a centralized place where you'd be able to find all of the lore of World of Warcraft. So, for example, fairly recently, Blizzard has been trying to partner with YouTube content creators such as WoW Platinum and such to make lore videos, but it's lore videos made by fans. And as much as I like Nobles and Bellula and such and WoW Platinum, I believe it's not the way Blizzard should be doing this, way back when, I believe a few years ago, Blizzard actually did a video on YouTube, on their YouTube channel, to explain the story of the Burning Legion, And that was a nice video, and it's on YouTube. It's lost somewhere in the mess that is their YouTube channel, They should have another YouTube channel dedicated to lore story, to cinematic and story moment, because it's lost. Otherwise, it's lost in in the big mess of all the mythic dungeon invitational and such like that, you know. There should be a way in game to find all of that lore without having to go on WoWHead, WoWpedia, YouTube and such. You know, that should be in game. Not only that, but honestly, like YouTube. I mean, come on, you can find like so many things. Like there are videos which are made for every expansions, such as the Afterlife video for Shadowlands, the Warbringers video for Battle for Azeroth, the Harbingers video for Legion, I think, or Warlords of Draenor, something like that. The Warlords videos for Warlords of Draenor, the Burdens of Shawao for Mist of Pandaria, and all of these are on YouTube, but they're also in game and they're lost somewhere. You have to find them, you know, and these should be compiled in there, right there in Orgrimmar. I should be able to find them, you know. I should be introduced to that feature and put it right there in the entrance, you know, next there. You remove the fire pit, and right next when you start the game, you know, you have a quest. You're like, yeah, go right there, and there you go. You have some story. You can understand some stuff. You know, that should be the way to go, I believe.